Hey everybody, this video I'm going to explain to people they don't understand the system I use with the sprayers. I've got this in a solo, but I'm using this in the video. Nobody understands what I'm doing. They think I'm doing something, but they don't know what it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to explain, and to be honest, it's hard to explain because it's kind of a technical thing to explain, but I'm going to try to explain it the best I can so I understand it, and I want you guys to understand it because I know what I'm doing, whether I can explain it good or not. So we're going to try to explain this. But basically what I'm doing is I'm spraying the carpet. Okay, the carpets are completely dry. There's no moisture on them whatsoever. They've never been pre-sprayed. So whenever I start the process, the first thing I do is I spray a small area of the carpet, like a 2 foot by 2 foot area, something like that. I put the bonnet on it, put the machine on the bonnet, and then I start that way I'm starting the machine on wet carpet. I'm never starting the machine. I use a dry bonnet with a glider underneath it, and I never put a dry bonnet on a dry carpet and start it up. So I spray a 2 by 2 or 3 by 3 by 3 area, whatever seems necessary, put the machine on the bonnet, and then I start the machine up, and then I start working that small area of dampness. And after I've worked it for a few seconds, I go ahead and spray away from the machine, and I just keep spraying off different areas until I've worked my way through the entire carpet. Now the reason I do this is because for years and years I've been pre-spraying with, I've used the Works, the Aerobies, the Pump Zeros, and what I don't like is when I pre-spray a room, say I'm pre-spraying a room that's 800 or 1,000 square feet, so by the time I spray the whole room and I start in the area where I started spraying it, by the time I work my way to the end of the room, a lot of times the carpet's dry. And so, or it's drier, so I started off in a wet area and worked my way into a drier area, which means the cleaning's less efficient in that area. This technique, the carpet's just as wet everywhere because I'm spraying the carpet. Now I'm using a low volume sprayer, but that's okay because it'll get the carpets wet for about 2 or 3 minutes before it starts drying off a little bit. It'll totally dry off in like 20 minutes, where you can't even tell you sprayed it, but it'll keep the carpets wet for 1 or 2 minutes before it starts drying. But what I'm doing is I'm spraying the carpets, and then when I spray the carpets, I'm within 10 or 15 seconds running the bonnet over the carpets, so the carpets are very wet. I'm using a low volume sprayer, but getting a wet carpet scrubbing, cleaning, because I run the bonnet over the machine so quick that the carpet's still wet when I do it. And by the time I've gone across the room, I've done the carpet completely wet everywhere I've done it, but it starts drying in a couple of minutes. So when I'm done at one end of the room, the other end of the room's basically dry already. So if I work for 10 minutes in a room, by the time I get done where I started at, it's pretty much dry. That's how fast, so your carpets are going to dry in like 10 minutes. So if the area I started in is dry in 10 minutes, then the area I just finished, it'll be drying another 10 minutes. So I'm doing a room and they're drying like 10 minutes after I get done in the room. Some of the rooms dry before I even get done with the whole room. So it's a very fast technique for drying the carpet, you get the carpets clean and dry. So, but that's what I'm doing. That way I have the spray evenly put down on the entire place. The carpets are very, very wet when I clean them. And I'm spraying dry carpets, but they're very wet when I'm cleaning because I put enough spray down to get them wet, and then I'm working that area in until it looks work, and then I'm moving to another area. And everything I do is like anywhere from 2 by 2 foot or 3 by 3 foot. I'm not doing like 6 or 8 foot areas. I'm doing like maybe 2 by 2 or 3 by 3 foot areas. And the carpets are wet, and I'm hitting them within 10 or 15 seconds after I've got them wet. So the carpets are very wet, but I know the carpets will dry to start drying up within a minute or two. So I've got but I'm getting them done so fast that it doesn't matter. So like a minute or two after I've cleaned an area, it is starting to dry. When you go back and touch it, it's drier than it was. It's quite a bit drier than it was like 2 or 3 or 4 minutes earlier. It dries very fast because it just works. So that's what I'm doing. And now there's things you can do. If I came into a carpet that was extremely soiled everywhere, I would probably go ahead and I would go ahead and use the sprayer. I'd go ahead and I would probably spray the dirty areas and get them pre-emulsifying. and then I'd go ahead and do the spray buffing routine. But if they're real dirty and there's lots of areas, I'm going to pre-spray them. But I've done carpets that have quite a few spots in them. I don't pre-spray them. And when I get to the spots, the carpets are completely dry and never been pre-emulsified, and I just spray the cleaner on, and they clean up just like that. So the pre-emulsification thing is not that big of a deal. But if it was real dirty, I probably would try to pre-emulsify, just because it makes sense to give yourself an edge on something like that. But that's basically what I'm doing. And I with this machine here, it holds half a 2 liter, or no, it holds it holds half a liter of water, and I put about an ounce of cleaning solution in it. And don't ask me how it works. Try it for yourself, because when I do the carpets, they're clean. And someone told me they can't be getting wet enough to clean, but they are. They're getting very wet, and they're getting clean while being very wet. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this technique. It's a similar technique to those guys that use those big Arbot vibes, and they're going over a dry carpet. They're pushing a sprayer button on the front, and they're spraying as they go, and the carpets are not pre-sprayed. It's the same basic thing they're doing, but I'm doing it with a machine where you hold a sprayer in one hand and a machine in the other. And I'm doing it without a wheels down machine. So basically it's something that's already been done anyway, so it's not like I'm doing something that's taboo, because it's already been done by all the people that own those wheel down machines. That's how they clean. And you can do it with end cap or just bonnet clean. It don't make a difference. But and if you don't think the carpet's getting wet enough, and if you are one of those people that's worried about the carpets not being pre-emulsified first, well, I'll tell you what you can do. Go ahead and pre-spray the whole room, and that way you know you got your pre-emulsification process going, and then start the cleaning process like I do, where you're spray buffing the carpets, and you'll be cleaning. And that way, as you get across, like you could do 3,000 square feet, and by the time you work your way to the area where the carpet's already dried up, it's still pre-emulsified. So you're coming at it with this, you're rehydrating it, and when you rehydrate it, you reactivate your chemicals that you've already sprayed down, and so you're cleaning basically a dry carpet that's pre-emulsified. Or in a room that's pretty small, you might be cleaning, you might be spraying extra water into a room that's been sprayed, but you'll just make sure that you don't have no dry areas of a room if you do the technique. My suggestion is you try the technique for yourself, and you can take my word for it. I'm not lying to you, but if you don't want to trust me, go buy a $50 sprayer and keep the receipt. Do it yourself. If you don't like it, take the sprayer back to the store. That's all you got to do. Try it and see it for yourself, and I guarantee it works. I've done a bunch of carpets this way. I've done them where there's lots of stains. I've done them where there's no stains. I don't pre-treat. I don't pre-emulsify, and it works no matter what. So I mean, the thing works. This technique just works no matter how you do it. But anyway, I thought I'd explain that to everybody, because people ask me, how does the thing work? What's the trick to it? Is it why are you doing something that's gimmicky? It's like, well, it's not gimmicky. I'm making sure my carpets are the same dampness throughout the whole room. If you guys bonnet clean, you've done these places where you spray these carpets, and you start on one end of the room, and by the time you get to the middle of the room, you reach down and touch the carpet and realize the pre-spray's already dried up, but you know you pre-sprayed it. This will get you out of that jam. If the pre-spray's already dried up, it don't matter, because you're just going to spray it and get it wet anyway and clean a 2x2 or a 3x3 area, and just keep spraying your way through. So if the carpet is dried up, you're not going to know the difference, because you're getting wet anyway. It's just an add-on to your spray buffing routines that you're already doing. Bonnet cleaning or whatever you're doing. You might as well just do it. It's better than what you're doing now, because it's an upgrade to what I've been doing this forever, and this is the best thing I've come up with to make sure I'm always cleaning on a nice wet carpet. So any way you do it, whether the carpets are pre-sprayed or whether they're bone dry, the technique will work. It don't matter which direction you come at it from. But if you don't believe me, get a sprayer and try it, and you'll see for yourself. It will work. It'll work with any machine. I used to ORC, but you could use a big orbital. You could use a big rotary. It don't matter. It'll work with all the machines. It just works. That's just how it is. So I wanted to make that video to try to explain this. If you have any questions, either ask in the comment section of this video, or come to my group and talk to me there. I'll talk to anybody, and I'll be polite with you if you want to come and ask me questions. You can come in there and debate it with me. I don't care. I'm not going to lose, so I'll debate. But But I'll be glad to talk to anybody and explain how this works for anyone who don't quite understand. But anyway, that's what this video is about. So I hope it might be helpful to some of you. And trust me, try it for yourself. The whole trick work. The whole technique just works. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.